Hello, thank you for joining me for this webinar today. My name is Dylan Fisher, Regional Sales Manager here at McCormick Systems, a foundation software company. Here at McCormick Systems, we specialize in estimating and takeoff software. We've been in the estimating software business for over 40 years. Definitely have a great name for ourselves out there. Lots of great users. Today, I'll be giving you a quick preview of our all-in-one estimating and takeoff solution. This is a preview. If you're interested in learning more about McCormick, getting a personalized full online demonstration scheduled with us, just give us a call or send us an email afterwards. I'll also try to leave some time at the end for questions. There's a chat box in the webinar dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to launch the program and log into the system. Now, to start here, I do want to talk a little bit about network capabilities. McCormick is a cloud-based software, meaning that everything is hosted on the cloud. You're able to access it from anywhere. We also have a true network multi-user system, so all of your users are seeing the same information. It's actually all stored there and used there live in real time. So again, username and password here, you can set up securities on users if needed. This is what we call the job screen in McCormick. It is a customizable dashboard. Essentially, we're opening a job here to finish a job, to review it, to make changes to it, or we're starting a new job. Today, I'm going to look at a job that's in process. It's got a bit of a start to it. So let's look at the details on this 149 West Boston job. We call this the job information screen. It is the same screen you would see if you clicked on new job. On a new job, it'd be blank. So you'd want to name it here at the top. That's really all that's required here. We have other fields for customer details, phone numbers, addresses, things like that. This information will populate automatically into the reports, into the proposal at the end. But again, all we really need is a job name to get started. There are some tabs at the bottom. I'm just going to go to the last one here and show you. This is where we attach digital plans to the job folder. As an example, we've set up some folders here. We've already attached some sheets to the job, so we've got some organization capabilities here. Adding folders is easy. Right-click, add folder. Maybe I want to add some revisions here. I could name this folder revisions. I want to keep those separate. Adding drawings is easy. When we hit the drawings button here, that opens up our computer storage, our file explorer. We've got to find the plans on our computer wherever we happen to have them saved, or our network. When we hit open, McCormick pulls the plans into a preview mode. So we're going to separate the file into individual sheets for you and allow you to preview them. I can zoom in here and just choose the sheets I want. Okay, so if I just wanted these two sheets here, I could select the boxes and use the import selected option here, or I could use the import all option. I want all of them. And that's really it. We accept any type of digital image file, PDF, TIFF, JPEG. We do recognize file formatting such as folders and names, thumbnails. Of course, we can make changes here in McCormick after the fact, but they are copied into the job folder. They're here to stay. Now, in McCormick, we worked through a 5-step process. So we talked through the first step in McCormick, setting up the job, name it, type in details if you want to, add plans if you've got them. The second step is what we call labels. I'll talk briefly about this. This is an example. In this job, I want to break down on some areas. I broke the areas further down into systems. So this is going to translate to detail later on. If I just want to look at the lighting in the warehouse, I can do that. I can see a material list, man hours just for the lighting in the warehouse. So we allow you to break the job into pieces, for better bid management, better job management. Also, in this first column, I'm separating pricing. So McCormick can separate, we can have multiple prices per job folder. Okay, we've got the ability to do, base bid, options, alternates, and even change orders. Sorry if you weren't able to see my screen. I guess when I started the broadcast, I thought that the screen sharing was automatic, so I apologize for that. Yeah, I'm in the second step of McCormick now. So again, we're working through a 5-step process here. In the first step, we're just setting up the job. We're adding, we're naming the job, adding plans to the job, and in the second step, we're breaking the job down into pieces. Okay, again, we can separate pricing. We can handle change orders within this one job folder. I might have a base bid, several options, and tons of change orders. So each label in this first column, again, just represents a separate price. So multiple price breakdowns, multiple bid breakdowns per job folder. In the third step in McCormick, this is really where all the magic happens. This is where we'll spend most of our time here. So in step 3 takeoff, this is where we're accounting for material. Of course, we're looking at the electrical program. McCormick has really the best starting point out there in terms of a pre-built electrical database. We've got somewhere around 60,000 electrical items, 30,000 pre-built assemblies. So we've got this great big database here. We're going to find parts and take them off. Now, to find parts in the database, we use a menu here. Now, you'll see that the menu says Takeoff menu for assemblies because I'm looking at the assemblies database. These first 2 tabs at the bottom toggle between the items database and the assemblies database. Okay, so we'll start with an item. An item is a single piece of material. Here's how the menu works. I want wire, copper, stranded. I want THHN. That takes me to my list. I want number 12. Of course, we have the all the different sizes listed here, smallest to largest. As soon as you select a part in the database, it's active. In fact, it turns blue, showing that this part is ready to be taken off. Now, of course, I've added plans to the job. I could launch the Pro and start marking the drawing. I can activate parts in the database and start marking the plan. We'll do that in just a minute. Another way to account for material is just to type in quantities. I'll show you that real quick. I'll type in 100 on my keyboard and hit enter. We call that manual entry takeoff. So that's one way to do it if you didn't have a digital plan, or maybe this is just a small change order I'm working on. The Audit Trail records everything we do. This is our receipt and takeoff. This is the description of the part, shows whether it's an item or an assembly, shows the quantity. Of course, that represents feet. All linear material in McCormick is taken off in feet. We show the user that took it off. We date and timestamp every piece of takeoff, and then the M stands for manual entry. So who took it off, when they took it off, how they took it off, what they took off, item or assembly, and how much. Now, real quick, I'm going to review the item for you and talk a little bit about this information here. This is sort of the meat and potatoes behind an estimating program. We have built-in material pricing, built-in labor units. So the material cost, 4 levels, and then the time it takes to do the work, 6 levels. Okay, McCormick has 3 levels: bid labor, change order 1, and change order 2, and then we do have the 3 levels in NECA. We also have things like cost codes, schedule codes, UPC codes, catalog numbers built into these parts. Cost codes and schedule codes translate to project management. That's automatic material grouping. Everything in McCormick is customizable. Again, not a better starting point out there in terms of a pre-built database, but you can make it your own. Very customizable. The information built into the parts and the parts themselves, you can change anything you want. You can add anything you want to it. So that's an item. Let's look at an assembly next. An assembly is a group of items we can account for at the same time. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to use the menu the same way. I want a device. I want a standard grade device. I want a receptacle. Again, the menu takes me to my list. These are a list of standard grade receptacle assemblies. I want the duplex 20 amp. When we're working with assemblies, we can leave this side window open. It shows all the parts. So now I'm getting a bunch of items at the same time. Now, again, if you're doing manual entry takeoff, you simply type in a quantity and hit enter. So that's manual entry takeoff. But again, this is a group of items. Each one of these items has price and labor built into it. Now I'm getting all the material I need for in this case, for the 20 amp duplex receptacle. I'm getting all the parts I need all in one shot. Price and labor is built in. So once it hits the audit trail, we're done with it. Okay, it's estimated. So that's manual entry, very simple. Okay, next we're going to open up the plan. The on-screen takeoff is just as simple. It's the same process. We're going to select parts. The only difference is instead of typing in a quantity, we're going to click on the plan, and then the counts and measurements will feed into the audit trail automatically. Okay, because this is 100% built into the estimating program. So let's go ahead and select a sheet here. We'll set a quick scale on it. Okay, so I'm going to choose the scale here that the plan came with, 1/8 = 1. And there's just so much that this part of the program can do for you, but in our short time together, I'm really just going to stick with a lot of the basics. On a basic level, we need to get counts and measurements, right? We're doing it on a digital plan. So let's start with the count. Now I have this 20 amp duplex assembly active here in the estimating program. I showed you that I can do manual entry takeoff, right? I can type in a number, or I can click on the plan. So you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner that assembly duplex 20 amp standard is active here on the drawing. So now all I've got to do is point and click. Okay, with each click, I'm leaving this mark behind. Of course, again, everything's customizable. The assembly is customizable. The parts that make up the assembly, the color and symbol that I leave behind, that's all customizable to you. We've even got this cool legend we can turn on here. It is a live legend, and we can put it anywhere we want. It'll show all the counts and measurements. More importantly, everything I do on the plan is recorded by the estimating program. So you'll see that these, as I mark the plan, counts and measurements feed into the audit trail automatically. Okay, so again, one program for estimating and takeoff. I got 8 of these assemblies. Again, that's all the parts I need to install the outlet. Price and labor is built in. So if it's marked on the plan, we're done. That's basic counting. I'll show you linear takeoff next. So I'm going to select a branch assembly. I want EMT. I want steel set screw with the strap and number 12 wire. I want 3 number 12s. So here's the assembly. Of course, it's built to give me everything I need to install, not just pipe and wire, couplings, connectors, straps, screws, washers, everything's included. For linear takeoff, there are a couple options. There's a single line setting, one click to start, one click to end. Connected allows me to change directions. So one click to start, one click to change directions, a double click to finish the run. We also allow you to account for vertical values here. I need to drop at the panel, so I'll right click and I get all these options. We can interact with takeoff. I'm just going to use this option here, add drop value to the end. My system is defaulting to 8 feet, so that little box with the 8 in it represents 8 feet. Of course, we can change the default to whatever values we want. So we can get the drop values we want where we want them. We also have an auto start and auto end option. So auto drops. Okay, I have auto start and auto end selected. So the next run I take off, in fact, every run I take off with those boxes selected, I'm getting those drop values on either end. In this example, both sides automatically. And again, if it's marked on the plan, it's estimated. Okay, those green lines represent this branch assembly. I accounted for the verticals as well. So this is the audit trail is recording everything. It's showing the horizontal measurement here, and then it shows the adjusted value here with the drops added. We recently added an auto home run feature. This is exclusive to McCormick. This is our latest patent. So of course we have auto count. We have so many capabilities here, but I do want to highlight this one since this is our newest patent here. I'm going to create an endpoint to this panel here. It's going to ask me to name it because we can have multiple endpoints. So I'll call it PB for panel B. We do have the ability to draw a path. So that's what this marker is for. I have an endpoint. This is where my home runs are going. If I want my home runs to follow a specific path, I can draw it. I'm just going to skip that step and switch to the home run marker. I can do a direct path. So as the crow flies, in terms of the line, and then this is where I'm taking it, panel B. So I do have the auto drops turned on both sides. I'm going to leave them on. So now we're going to do an auto home run with the auto drops. Again, that's the direct. All I did was point and click on the starting point. McCormick drew a direct path to the end point. It gave me the vertical values on either side automatically. There's also orthogonal, which is squared off. So that's just gonna square it off for me. Pretty simple. So now McCormick is drawing the home runs for me. Again, we're estimating. We're not just getting measurements here. These marks represent whatever assembly I selected from my estimating program. So again, only so much I can show you in the short time we have together today. But again, I encourage you to get a personalized online demonstration scheduled with us to go through all the features. You know, it's pretty neat, all the capabilities we have available here. Again, auto count, we've talked a little bit about auto home runs. We have design build capabilities. We have built-in shortcuts here. So much we can do. Highlighting tools, drawing tools. We can compare plans, but let's go ahead and move on to the next couple steps. So again, we work through a 5-step process. Once you're done accounting for material here in Takeoff, you're moving to extension. Okay, so step 4 extension, we're going to see a result of everything we did in Takeoff. Now, this is an itemized list of material. Yeah, we took off a bunch of assemblies, but for example, half-inch EMT, that might have been in 10 different assemblies, right? But at the end of the day, it's telling me, hey, you need 7,100 feet of that half-inch EMT for the job. So this is every piece of material down to the nuts and bolts, you know, wire nuts, everything. So itemized list of material, total quantity, and then remember, McCormick has multiple levels of price and labor built in. So this is what these colored columns, this is showing me, you know, what I'm extending my material quantities by. So again, we have multiple levels. We can choose different combinations of price and labor here. We also have, here's an example supplier report. So this price one it represents, you know, an average market price, right? These columns here are set up to accept supplier prices. So there's a lot of ways to manage that in McCormick. Supplier pricing, your pricing. In fact, we can even cherry pick, you know, best pricing here. We can, using a pricing service, we can get live price updates directly from our supplier on command, job to job, compare them side by side, and again, even cherry pick. So lots of options for managing material pricing. Of course, that's a hot button in today's world. So. All right, back to the price one bid labor report. You know, quantity times price one gives me the extended price. This is the total material cost at the top, almost $20,000. Here's the total material cost for each line item. All right, quantity times bid labor gives me bid labor extension. These are the hours. The total hours are 827 man hours. And then these are the totals for each line item. We can make any changes we want here. Again, we can choose different reports. We can even view this different ways in terms of the breakouts. I touched on it in step 2. We can look at just the warehouse, right? Just the lighting in the warehouse. We can look at all those types of reports here. On a basic level, we get here, we make sure pricing is good. Some of the material we have to send out for quote, we've got an automatic filter for that. It's just gonna filter the list down into quoted items. Okay, all of these reports are exportable and printable. If you need them outside of McCormick, file, print, export. I'm gonna go ahead and say, all right, I'm done here. I'm happy with this report. I'm gonna send my totals to the bid summary, my total material cost, my total hours. All right, so here in the bid summary, this line here shows me the summary I'm working on. This is what we just sent here. Total material cost, total hours. We're focused on this here. We call it the top sheet. It's incomplete. All we've got is the material cost that came from extension. The labor is at $0. I sent hours here, but have not signed any rates to those hours yet. We're going to do that in the labor folder. You'll see that there's a folder for each of these categories down at the bottom. Okay, so on the left side, this is my example list of rates. This is one of the few things you need to set up in McCormick for yourself. You know, you want to use your rates, not our example rates here. You can set up multiple groups. You can get as detailed as you want with setting up your labor rates. You know, we can even break out burden by percentages and dollar amounts and create burden levels. So, again, you can get as detailed as you want. Some users keep it pretty simple. They might just assign an average rate to all these hours. So that's really up to you. In my example, I am going to pick from my list here. I want my foreman rate, my journeyman rate, and my apprentice rate. So I'm selecting the ones I want, and then I can assign hours here or a percentage of the hours here. I'm going to do percentage, 25, 50, and 25. Here's the total labor cost for each rate and the hours assigned to it. Here's the total labor cost for the job. That number automatically goes to the top sheet. All right, so we've got material cost and labor cost. The rest of the folders are really just punch-ins for quoted material. You know, I got a lump sum on my fixture quote, 4,500. Okay, subcontractor expenses. These are just examples in the folders. You can always add to the list. Direct job expenses, you know, permits and fees and fuel and equipment cost. There's a, you know, here's the equipment cost folder. So things like, you know, a lift and trailer. Again, just punch-ins at this point. These folders can also be preset, you know, as a default. So, you know, I've seen people put all their equipment cost in here. So job to job, they might come here and say, okay, this is my weekly cost for the lift. I need that for 2 weeks. There's a folder here to set up a bond table. Here's the tax folder. Of course, you would have your tax rate in here. I've got mine on the materials and quotes. When I go back to the top sheet, I see all my totals, right? And then everything combined together is here on the right. So that's the raw cost, tax, and raw cost with tax. That's my cost. This is what it cost me to do the job. At the end of the day, that's the number we're after. You know, what's it going to take for us to do the job? Now, we need to make some money on it. We're going to add some markups. So overhead and profit totals will show up here. I can add it here by category. So I could say for material, I want 10% overhead. On top of that, I want 15% profit. Okay, so in that example, I marked up the material only. I can mark up each one of these categories completely different if I want to. Otherwise, if I want the same markup across the board, I can use these cells down here. 10% on everything, 12% profit on everything. All right, so based on these markups here, it does show the dollars here, and then everything's totaled up on the right. Total overhead, total profit, total return in dollars, total return percent, there's the price. We're not going to use the bond, so that's the sell price without bond. All right, just a couple minutes left here. From here, I also want to point out, once again, everything is printable and exportable. Any information you want out of McCormick. Now, we do have integration with Foundation for the accounting and project management, so direct integration with Foundation for that. We also have generic exports for other types of programs, you know, for QuickBooks and what have you. But again, everything is also printable and exportable. So I'll show you a bid summary report. This is again, kind of cool. Of course, you know, this is cloud-based. I can come back to this job anytime I want to review it, to make changes to it, to add to it, you know, but here's the bid summary report. This is what it would look like if you wanted to, you know, export it or print it out of McCormick. So all the job information and details, extension information I sent to the bid summary, labor distribution, the rates I use, the hours I assigned to them, markups, tax, quotes, subs, VJEs, equipment cost. We do generate an automatic proposal here at the end. This is pretty cool. So I'll show you how this works. It's we've got a plugin here with Word. You'll see I've got a McCormick tab. I'm going to open up a system template. Okay, this is my template. Of course, it can look however you want it to look, right? This is my example. It's got all these links in there. I set it up one time as a template. Now, job to job, I can select it, which I've done. Hit merge, because McCormick wants to know what summary are we pulling from, which bid, right? We can have multiple prices per job folder, and I could pull multiple prices into this proposal if I needed to. I'm just going to pull in the base bid. Hit OK. And all those fields populate. So job information, customer information, there's the sell price for the 149 West Boston job. So pretty neat, PDF all the way to the proposal. Now, again, there is so much that this program can do. Only so much I can show you and talk about in our short time together. I do apologize for the mishap at the beginning. You didn't get to see the job screen and the setup, but pretty simple there. Again, I did leave a few minutes here to answer any questions. So feel free to jump into the questions section, or there is a chat box as well. So I'm just going to hang out, and if there's any questions, I'll address them now. Otherwise, again, if this is something you're interested in learning more about, give us a call, 800-444-4890. We can get a demonstration scheduled with you. And of course, visit our website, send us an email. You can fill out a scheduled demo form on our website as well. So thanks again for joining. I'll see if any questions come up here. I'm going to close this in a few minutes. Okay, I do see one question here. The question is, can you extend a detailed breakdown of cost to Word? So the answer to that question is yes. We do have, again, one of the options I had was to, in fact, the way that this proposal template was set up was to accept some alternate prices here. I only, when I hit merge, I only chose to bring in the one. But yes, we can present a breakout pricing here. It's just in the way that the template is created. And then job to job, you select the ones you want and it populates. All right, well, thanks again for joining me. I haven't seen any other questions pop up here, so hope to hear from all of you soon. Again, happy to answer any questions, provide any information you might be interested in receiving, and of course, we're happy to get a full online demonstration scheduled with you to get even more in depth with you. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks again for joining.